The threat that beautiful rural areas of the West Country could be bulldozed is once again causing concern. Despite last year's change of government, campaigners say pressure is once more being applied to build homes on green fields. That'll be debated at a Bath and North East Somerset council meeting tonight. Alex.
Thanks, Chris. Yes, the West's glorious countryside, beloved and fiercely protected by those who live here. So there was much relief last year when the new coalition government scrapped a system of targets which would have forced the southwest to build hundreds of thousands of new houses. But hopes that these fields would be safe have been dealt a new blow. First came the government's snappily titled National Planning Policy Framework. And this is the line which has caused alarm that there should be a presumption in favour of sustainable development. And on top of that, planning inspectors say not enough's being done by councils like Bath and North East Somerset. Last year, BANES lifted the threat hanging over these fields, but after pressure from an inspector, they're now debating whether other land between Bristol and Bath might in fact be built on. It's not easy for councillors.
The issue we have here in Bath and North East Somerset is that the value of our land is so high, that property prices are so high, that it is very hard for people to get on that property ladder. It's very hard for people with low incomes to find affordable rented property, and it's very hard for our social landlords also to find land to build housing that they can make viable with a social rent.
To build or not to build, that's not the question. It's where to build that's the problem, Chris.
Well, earlier I spoke to Dr. Stuart Burgess, an expert on rural housing, and I asked him whether building on greenfield sites was inevitable.
I don't think it's inevitable that we're going to build on greenfield sites, but my plea is that every community really needs affordable homes, because if you take Somerset and Devon, for example, the house prices have gone up dramatically, and there are many second home owners and many elderly people living in rural communities. So for the sake of young people need affordable homes in rural communities.
But then do we have a choice then but to build on greenfield sites, given that particularly in the West Country where we have virtually run out of brownfield sites?
Well, I think it is important to use a brownfield site at all possible. But I also think that maybe from time to time small areas, and I insist on small areas, being used for affordable homes will actually prove to be invaluable for the vibrancy of future rural communities. Is
the government actually going to end up saying, yep, go ahead, use greenfield sites after all?
Well, the government has come out with the planning and the localism bill, which must go together rather than to be seen as separate entities. And it's important to realise that the government is actually saying that they are in favour of sustainable development and that the default position is yes. And I think that what the government needs to do is to actually describe what they mean by sustainable development.
And whether that means on greenfield sites or not.
Indeed, and whether that means on greenfield sites.
Okay.
And my guess, in some small areas, it may.
Dr. Burgess, we must leave it there. Thank you very much.